Hello, in this video I want to talk about questioning yourself, constantly asking yourself if you're the narcissist. It's a really common question of people coming out of this type of relationship. Am I a narcissist? And the fact that you're asking should hopefully put your mind at rest, as they can't take any responsibility. So it isn't something the emotional abuser would ask. Hello, my name is Elizabeth Goddard from Revive Your Soul. And on this channel, I talk about healing from emotional abuse, healing those invisible chains that keep you trapped in that relationship, asking so many questions. If you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe. And if you're returning, thank you and welcome back. That's a really common question. Am I the narcissist? The fact that you're asking the question should hopefully put your mind at rest, because they can't take responsibility. And we are all on that narcissistic scale. As a baby, you're naturally self-centered, and you needed to be for survival. It was how you alerted your parents and your caregivers to tend to your needs by crying. And over time this changed. As you grew, you were shown how to manage your feelings. If you've spent a significant amount of time with a narcissist, you might have picked up a few of their traits. But you might be asking, who does that to another person? Or why does it hurt so much? Do I have empathy? Or am I a narcissist? These are not questions somebody with a personality disorder would even consider. And you could be wondering if you're a narcissist because you've been told this is all your fault. During the devaluation and discard stages, they've told you what's wrong with you and why the relationship is breaking down. And you did whatever you could to fix it, losing more and more of yourself. Or it could be that you grew up with one or more narcissistic people in your life and you've picked up some of their traits. This does not make you a narcissist. You've probably learned the hard way by believing that your partner was normal. Emotional abuse is one of the most devastating forms of abuse anyone can endure, and it's hard for people to understand, and it's so difficult to diagnose. As I said, we're all on that spectrum. You're on the lower end and your partner or ex-partner is on the higher end. One of the main reasons I talk about emotional abuse rather than narcissistic personality disorder or narcissists or psychopaths is that a diagnosis will need to take place. And for that to happen, that person needs to realise they have a problem. It is very unlikely that this will happen because they don't see anything wrong with their behaviour. And it is quite likely you are at the end of the relationship or it's over when you're trying to understand what happened and why they hurt you so much. If they are trying to hoover you, they might suggest that they now believe it is their fault and they can see where they've gone wrong and that they're going to seek help, but they rarely do. If you try and approach them, they will likely go into a rage. It suggests there's something wrong with them and it threatens them. You might be experiencing a swing of emotions as you recover from this and still wonder for a long time afterwards if you were at fault. They have brainwashed you into believing that it is. They trained you from the very start of the relationship, testing you all the time to see if you would respond to them and how far they could go. There was an experiment which is now referred to as Pavlov's dog, and the scientist was actually researching saliva in dogs. He realised that he could collect more saliva from the animals nearer feeding time and noticed that the dogs were associating the footsteps of the lab assistant with being fed. So he experimented with the bell, and each time he rang the bell, the dogs were fed. And then he would just ring the bell with no food, and the dogs would produce saliva. In the same way, the emotional abuser did this to you. They eroded your boundaries. Through the idealization, devaluation, and discard stages, they trained you. And they very, very slowly then changed your reality. You were told over a period of time that you were the problem. And because this is very subtle, you believed them. You are then trapped and you need to untangle from these bonds. Out of the relationship, you might suffer with anxiety and depression or post-traumatic stress disorder. They know what they are doing, but they don't care. If you have been in a relationship with an emotionally abusive or toxic person, you may have picked up a few fleas displaying similar behaviour. You were trauma bonded, and you may have started to view people and the world differently. If you were brought up in this environment, you might believe that manipulative behaviour is normal. You might have been the scapegoat in your family, or you may have experienced triangulation, and you use this and other techniques. As you started to break away from your tribe, you may have noticed that other people don't behave in that way, or that you don't feel comfortable using them. As children, as I said, we're naturally narcissistic, but as we grow and mature, we become more aware of our environment and the people around us. We become sensitive to other people's feelings and their emotions, and we understand the consequences of our actions. Now, as a result, you may have self-parented yourself, or you're now learning this is manipulative behaviour. You might even have tried mirroring back the behaviour to your abuser as a form of a defence mechanism, or give them a taste of their own medicine. As children, we're sponges, and between birth and around 7 or 8 years old, we live in a theta state, which is a hypnotic state. So everything we see and hear, we believe to be true. And it isn't until we are older and start visiting other people's homes that we realise that they do things differently. The words children hear and what they witness become ingrained into their subconscious mind. The messages they receive tell them what is acceptable behaviour and what isn't. As children, we take on the beliefs of the adults in our lives. And it might be that you come from a long line of doctors or lawyers, and the expectation is that you will follow them. I've lost track of the amount of people I've met who went into a career to please a parent. So was this your fault? Are you the narcissist? I mean, you can ask yourself a few questions and see how you feel and how they fit. Did you see the red flags at the beginning of the relationship and believe them when they explained themselves away, or told you that you were too sensitive, or tell you that they were only joking? Do you believe you might be an emotional abuser, or do you think you might just have fleas? Do you manipulate people to get your own way? Do you take responsibility? Do you think about the consequences of your actions before doing something? Did you turn off your intuition? Our minds can sometimes play tricks on us, and it might be helpful, if it doesn't trigger you too much, to write the story out and then look at it. Was this you, or was this them? I think one of the biggest questions you can ask yourself is, why are you searching for these answers? If this was your fault, you wouldn't be here looking for answers. You would have moved on by now. Instead, you're in pain and wondering why. I hope you find the answers you're looking for, and I hope you are able to release the trauma bond and start to forgive yourself. And I hope you found this video useful. Please don't forget to like and share and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to find out more about working with me on a one-to-one basis, then you can visit my website reviveyoursoul.co.uk, or you can email me info@reviveyoursoul.co.uk. I'm going to put the link below of my 2 books, Finding Lily and the A to Z of Emotional Abuse. And I'm sending you loads and loads and loads of love.